All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. This is Triple D, which being Dion's Daily Dose, presents Face to Face with Dion and Shawn. I am Dion.
And I am Shawn.
And we're going to talk today about the debate. We had a watch party. I think it went really well. It seemed to start like part of the way through because we used the C-SPAN. So I think we missed a couple of minutes at the beginning. But the vast majority of it we caught. And all right, so let's talk about the debate. First of all, as an undecided voter, would you be swayed by that debate?
No, I don't think it changed anybody's mind.
Okay. There are reports, right, of so-called independent voters who have said, I'm leaning Harris now. And my question to them is exactly what happened that made you lean Harris now? Because I didn't see any policy.
Nope.
I didn't hear any real accountability so one of the instances, right, the one that like really got to me is when Trump brought up that 13 people had died, and Kamala immediately used it to talk about the ceremony there, right? And how there was this big ceremony. The administration has barely even acknowledged that people died. The Gold Star parents are fed up with them.
And Biden during the debate actually boasted, saying that no military person has died.
Yeah, nobody died under his watch.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me, homie? Yeah, you're not only wrong, you're way wrong.
And that's insulting.
And that's exactly it. It is insulting to the people that lost family members. So I think there were a couple of good moments, right? One of them in particular being where Trump was talking and Kamala was off to the side, and Trump goes, "I'm speaking." Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Or remember that or something like that. Dude, amazing. Pro troll move, right? Do you have that in here?
I do, but I don't remember where. I'd have to look at the book to find out exactly when. I think I did include that in there somewhere.
Here, see if you see it. If not, we're gonna find it somewhere else because, dude, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I don't remember what topic they were talking about.
As a matter of fact, let's see.
You might be able to find it that way.
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing it on here, which is unfortunate because yikes, dude. Yikes. Let's see if it's here. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm not finding it right now, but it's not that big a deal. Hopefully we'll run across it. So let's see what we actually have here. Okay, so our first clip we got is what? Just and it's a good question. All right, so you know what? I think we're just gonna talk about the bullet points.
Okay.
Are you better off? Are you better off than you were under Donald Trump? Forget about the rhetoric, right? Forget about, there's less hate. First of all, no, there's not. There's really not. I would argue that there's more.
And we're definitely getting under each other's skin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so financially, are you better off now than you were at the height of Donald Trump's presidency? Forget COVID. COVID screwed everybody. It doesn't matter. And you can have your opinion on it and what it is, what it's not, right? But COVID is not the answer for are you better off, right?
And they're counting jobs that just came back because they reopened.
Right. And they were caught lying about the jobs number.
Yeah, they keep moving the job number forecast down. every month.
Yeah, every month. And the Bureau of Labor, did you
Stats.
see that? That said, did you find it? Where they said, no, 800,000 jobs don't exist.
I'll have to look for it again, but yeah, I saw
You
that.
did see it. Okay. Yeah. Where Bureau of Labor said that. And then this was actually at the DNC, the big convention where they asked the mouthpiece for the administration, yeah, but what about this? And they're like, I'm not familiar with that. You're not familiar with the Bureau of Labor? I'm not sure which is more concerning, the fact that you're saying you don't know about this or that you're not familiar with part of your own administration. A big part, by the way. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, like, literally tracks all of that. Anyway, are you better off?
I say no.
I definitively am not better off than I was
I think most people were better off when Trump was in office.
I think so too.
And I found the link if you want it about the 800,000 jobs.
Yeah, show me.
I just sent it to you.
Okay, let's take a look at this so you guys can see what you see what I'm talking about. All right, so let me show you. All right, official report stating U.S. gained nearly 818,000 jobs less than originally thought, stuns internet. Quote, but don't worry, Kamala will fix it on day one user replied to the news sarcastically. And you guys can look it up if you want. The point isn't to cover this, but it's to show you this is what we're dealing with, right? Unfortunately, we have an administration that makes lots of claims but provides no actual evidence. Let's talk about the Inflation Reduction Act.
Okay.
Moment, right? So they pushed that as if that was a really, really good thing. And ladies and gentlemen, we were sold this lie that it was going to improve our infrastructure. It was going to modernize our roads and highways and all of that. I don't know about you. I'm not seeing it.
No, and it just caused more inflation.
Right.
It says it in the title, Inflation Reduction Act, but it didn't reduce inflation. Right. They're saying inflation is slowing down, but that doesn't account for the inflation that has already hit.
Right. The inflation that was already there. The rate of increase is slowing down, but we're already screwed.
Uh-huh.
We're already well into territory. I mean, so are you better off? No. Okay. So the next thing is tariffs, right?
Yep.
So interestingly enough, Trump made a very, very valid point during the debate, which is if you guys hate these tariffs so much, why you still got them?
Uh-huh.
Why are there still tariffs on steel? I'm going to tell you, the USW loves those tariffs. And they should. Because China was dumping low-quality steel, and our steel mills, our steel industry was on the verge of collapse before Donald Trump instituted those tariffs. We live in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah.
We know people who work
I do
at steel mills. Yeah. I have friends and relatives that work in the steel mills. My father-in-law retired after 30 plus years at the steel mill.
And Kamala was trying to say that Trump's tariffs equals a national sales tax, and that's not a national sales tax.
No. So if you don't understand economics, okay, if you don't understand economics, it's very easy to talk about tariffs in a negative light, right? Even if you understand economics, it's easy to spin tariffs as in a negative way. But ultimately, what tariffs do is they force a company exporting goods to our country, a country or company. If it's coming from a foreign nation, you have to pay X amount higher, right, to the U.S. government in order to.
It's a level playing field.
A level playing field, but also, here's the thing: if you want tariffs and you're not going to cut taxes, no, because we're going to have a problem, right? But the idea is to eliminate taxes. This country lasted for years and years and years on tariffs and no taxes.
Uh-huh.
It worked perfectly fine. And We're paying the government for everything now. Taxes for you don't own your home.
No.
The government does, because if you stop paying, that's who gets it.
Your property taxes.
Yeah, absolutely. F taxes, man. Like, it's just that simple. So tariffs are positive when they do it. Tariffs are negative when Trump does it. It's very simple, right?
That's how they spend it.
That's how they spend it. Let's talk about abortion for a second.
Okay.
I think that's the big issue, right?
Yeah.
That's the big issue that the left is using, because you cannot defend this economy.
Nope.
You just can't do it. This economy's shit. You cannot defend it. And unless you take the tack like they're doing, like Kamala is the face of change, the bitch hasn't changed anything. She's been in office for damn near 4 years and hasn't done anything. As a matter of fact, their so-called plans, they took the Biden campaign and printed it with Biden's name still in it. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kamala's plans in Biden's next term, we're going to do. It's the same thing.
And she was supposed to be the border czar. And
let's talk about this border czar thing, right? So the media, the Democrat Party, tries to make a big deal out of this title, right? I don't care what you call her. Border czar, person in charge, moron. You call her whatever you want, right? Knee pads. You can call her whatever you want. But ultimately, it was her responsibility.
Yeah.
You can say, well, that was never her official title, and it was never this, and it was never that. I don't care. Ultimately, she was supposed to fix the border and didn't.
But that's why the media is trying to reject that claim of border czar, is to make sure that she doesn't get the blame.
Yeah, because she shouldn't be blamed for stuff that she didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best example is the interview that she gave, where they said, they mentioned border czar, and it came about, well, you haven't been to the border. She said, I haven't been to Europe either.
Uh-huh.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Like,
that's a good question.
Who cares? Like, what? I haven't been to Alaska. That doesn't change what I do here. Dude. Anyway. Okay, you know what? Immigration. I think, let's save immigration, because I think that's the biggest issue.
Okay.
That and the economy are what most people are talking about. But let's talk about Ukraine for a second.
All right.
I don't know if you guys noticed, right? But they tried so hard during this debate to make it look like Donald Trump was pro-Russia and anti-Ukraine.
Uh-huh.
I think Trump was very, very successful in saying, I just want it to end.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. I want the killing to stop. And I think that's what we should want. That's what I want. I want that thing to be over, dude, one way or another. Because I don't want my taxes going there.
I'm tired of sending them money.
I'm tired of sending billions of dollars. For what? Realistically. And I want people to genuinely think about this, right? At this point, so many people have lost their lives, and the map's all screwed up. Russia's here and Ukraine's up here, and it's just, right? Assume for a moment that everything just stopped. And Russia kept, what is it, the areas that they control now? Donbass and
Dunbar.
Something like that. It's the two southern big
states.
I
can't think of what it's
Ukraine. Called. I know one of them's like the Donbass region. Anyway, let's say Putin kept those, right? And everything else grinds to a halt. Everything's reset. Do you believe, genuinely, in your heart, do you believe that Vladimir Putin, after seeing what happened with Ukraine, is going to turn around and invade somewhere else?
I don't think so.
I genuinely can't see it. That would be like the dumbest thing to do.
I think he's looking for a way out, too.
I think so, too. I mean, this war has drug on for years now.
He thought he was going to be able to just go in and take it over
I
and be
think a
done
lot
with
of
it.
people did. Like
I did.
a lot of people said, he's just going to roll in. He's going to go straight to Kiev. He's going to capture it, and it'll be done. I will say I was very surprised at the way this is working out. At the same time, we're not getting accurate reports about what's happening over there. Not even close.
No.
I have talked to people who live there, and they're saying that what you see on the news, that's not it. That's not it. Like, they are sending the old, the infirm, the mentally handicapped. They are sending them to war in Ukraine because they don't have anybody else.
Wow.
That's how bad it is. And it's easy to sit in America and go, oh, yeah, we'll just send them more money. But number one, you need people.
Uh-huh.
And as people are dying, these tanks don't drive themselves. These jets don't fly themselves. We have a limited number of drones, and I don't want to send all of the United States' drones to Ukraine.
No.
We need those. And all that aside, dude, we are a rogue AI away from Skynet at this point. Like, genuinely. Because they're creating autonomous machines left and right. They might restrict them currently, but yikes.
Yeah, that's what
yikes. Yeah, they are currently working on lots of very concerning drone type technology. In my opinion, anytime a robot can kill a human being without a human being involved, we're done for. It's over. Because it does not take a giant leap of logic for a robot to say humans are a threat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyway. So Israel and Hamas. Trump's big thing is it never would have happened. The same thing with Russia and Ukraine. It never would have happened if I was president. I don't think he's wrong on that point. I believe that it would not have happened if Trump was president. It doesn't matter.
Great.
He can say that all day long. It doesn't matter. But what he did say is he'll fix it. And I think he will. I don't know if he'll get it done before he's actually sworn in again.
I think the Hamas-Israel thing is going to take much longer than the Ukraine-Russia. Because you're dealing with a terrorist organization with Hamas.
Right. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because I do want to touch on the Taliban thing for a moment.
Okay.
So Harris made a really big deal out of Trump inviting the Taliban leader
to Camp David.
Now, what do you think of that? Let's just take a moment and
where else would I guess I don't really care.
Where else are they going to meet?
Yeah.
If he's already going to be at Camp David, it's set up for that.
What, did they want them to meet at the White House?
Right, yeah.
That would have been worse.
That would have been even worse, right? Meeting at the White House would have been even worse.
I'm trying to think of another place that they could have.
Yeah, she's like...
she did make a big deal about that.
She made a huge deal about it, and it's like, okay, is that the big deal that she made it? Or, let's face it, Taliban was in charge at this point.
And I've made this point during the debate when we were live, is in Afghanistan, the Afghan government's so weak that you're going to either the Taliban is going to be in control of it or ISIS.
Right. And
I don't like either of those.
Yeah, they both suck.
They both
suck. But the Taliban has actually worked with us in the past, whereas ISIS can't be reasoned with.
No.
They're just fanatics.
And the Taliban really can't be trusted either.
No, of course not.
But I'd rather deal with them than ISIS.
Yeah, and let's face it, dude. What a pimp move by Donald Trump by telling this guy, here's a picture of your house. Yep. Here's the color shirt you wore. Well, you know, the information. Really, really, information is power, right? And he showed this guy, look, and they didn't kill anyone, any more American soldiers, and you're next.
And that's a great power move.
It is. It is a great power move.
And they didn't mess with us again.
Oh, no. No, for the entire rest of the time. All of a sudden, crickets and the clink of silverware from them, right? Why? Because Trump came in with that big D energy and just laid it on the table. Here you go. Like, come on, man. Like, and that's one of the things that I love about DJT, man. I love that big dick energy that he brings because that's how you gotta be. You are the most powerful individual in the world, in control of the most advanced military in the world. And what are you doing? What is this clown doing currently?
I'm afraid to know.
Has some ice cream, passes out on the beach, gets sunburned. Come on, man.
He shows strength, and
right.
Kamala was trying to make it seem like the leaders are laughing at Trump.
Right? No, nobody laughed at Trump, dude. Nobody. They might chuckle behind the scenes, but I'm going to tell you this: when Trump was president, nobody was laughing.
No, they showed.
I was laughing because I thought it was hilarious, but
he shows strength. He does.
He does. All right. We're just talking. Yep. We can have our own opinions. We can have respectful disagreements on things, but ultimately, you guys have to decide who you're going to vote for, and you have a choice between an individual. And somebody made a great point. We actually have two people who have been in office.
Yep.
We have direct comparisons we can look at, right? If you look at life under Trump and life under Biden, which one do you pick? I pick Trump, dude. Like,
I do too.
Yeah, every day and twice on Sundays. Thank you very much. But you have to decide that. And I genuinely don't understand the people that are like, oh, things are so much better now. Have you been to the grocery store?
Yeah, I don't understand it.
It's nuts, man. It's absolutely nuts. Okay, so Afghanistan. I don't see how, number one, I don't see how anyone from this administration has not stepped up at all and taken responsibility. It's been dodge after dodge after dodge. I mean, Neo from the Matrix levels of dodge from this administration about the fuck up that was Afghanistan withdrawal.
And all the people we left behind, allies.
Yes, people, allies, equipment. Equipment can be replaced. People, dude, aside from the service members that got killed, we haven't even heard how many interpreters were killed, captured, tortured. We have no numbers on that. I'm sure it's up there because what the hell is Biden going to do?
And all the people that helped us during the war.
Right.
And asking anybody to help us again, I don't know if they're going to trust us.
No, let's face it. We bailed on them in Afghanistan. And one of the things that happened in the Trump presidency that I wasn't a big fan of is what happened with the Kurds. I don't know if you remember in Turkey.
Yeah.
We had some issues there, right? That's why I say I have no problem calling out Trump on what I consider to be mistakes, poor decisions, things like that. I got no problem calling them out. But you have these people, these simps, for both sides that see no flaws ever.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. But everybody makes mistakes. Everyone's human.
Mm-hmm.
But Afghanistan, we don't have a degree of accountability. And for those of you that, like me, see the entire Afghanistan withdrawal as just disgusting and one of the most embarrassing moments in the history of our country.
Mm-hmm.
Harris told you she's responsible. She said, I agree 100% with the President Biden's decision. Resident ice cream. I agree with everything he said. I was in the room. Okay, then you're just as responsible.
Uh-huh.
I didn't hear an apology.
Nope.
People make a big deal about Trump saying, not, I guess, saying anything about things he'd do differently or regrets about January 6th. I didn't hear Kamala say any sort of regrets about the lives lost in Afghanistan and the loss of standing in the world through that.
That is true.
So, we want to compare apples to apples here for a moment. Now, let's talk about immigration.
All right.
because that's the big, that and the economy are the big things on people's mind. Now, first of all, do you think it's as big of a deal as we were being told? Trump keeps saying it's even more people than's being reported, whereas the left, oh, it's not that big a deal.
I think it's a big deal.
I think it's a huge deal.
We talked about Ohio, but we didn't talk about what's going on in Boulder, Colorado, too. About the gangs taking over apartment.
Aurora, Colorado. An apartment complex. Gang, Venezuelan migrant gang, illegal immigrant, took over at least one. I heard it was more than one apartment building with weapons that they shouldn't even have. So obviously the law isn't working in the favor of law-abiding citizens, right?
And I think Trump should have mentioned that in the debate instead of Ohio with the cat. I think it would have been.
But you know what, though? I think Trump is playing a longer game. I do, because let me tell you what. Imagine if the media is reporting that no cats and dogs are perishing, right? Okay. And then, by the way, we're going to Springfield. We're going to get to the truth. But imagine we get there and we hear from the people there, oh no, this is definitely happening. And citizen journalists break the story. Yes, this is really happening. Trump has been vindicated, right? And Harris looks like a liar. The ABC moderators, the mainstream news, all these people are proven to be the liars that they are.
Again,
I'm not saying that's what's happening because I don't know. I don't live in
it would be nice to know the truth.
Which is why we're going to go. We're made a video. Watch it. What's really going on in Springfield, Ohio. If you guys can help, we'd love it. If not, no worries. So immigration, and more importantly, mass illegal immigration, mass amnesty, all these things are happening, and you see it all over. It's not just Springfield, Ohio. Yeah, okay, we're talking about the Haitians and the pets. That gets people emotional. But that's like the least. I won't say the least, but it's down there as far as the potential negatives of allowing millions of unvetted people into your country. There are far, far worse things that can and have happened. We've had human beings killed by illegals. And unfortunately, the focus on the pets, that's necessary, right? We need to know about shit like that. But that narrow-minded focus, I believe, is ignoring the larger issue of what the hell are we going to do with all these people? They're just being shoved into these small communities and being, here you go.
And we should try to look into that too.
Absolutely, because that's the real question. What do we do with these people? Once they're here, they're here.
It's going to be very difficult. Trump talks about a mass deportation thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult, I think.
Okay, so one thing, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things that they had asked, right? They said, okay, so you talked about doing a mass deportation. How does that work? I don't feel like Trump gave an effective answer on that question because they asked, are they going to go door to door? And he was nodding because he was listening to the question, but it can easily be construed as, are they going to go door to door? And Trump goes,
yeah.
No, you're not.
No.
Like, no, you're not. You're not coming to my house to look for migrants. I don't have any. Like, it's just that simple.
That's why I said it's going to be
fucking
very
warrant in this country to come over somebody's threshold.
It's going to be very difficult to deport.
Oh, yeah. Now, is it impossible? No, absolutely not.
No.
What it's going to take, though, is it's going to take a partnership with local and federal
and state,
local, county, state. I mean, all of them are going to have to work together. Now, here's the big question, right? What about sanctuary cities?
Exactly. There's going to be some areas that aren't going to help.
Yeah. So here's the other thing, though. If the federal government can withhold funds, which we talked about, from Oklahoma
Yeah.
because of abortion. You know, the federal government, the Supreme Court had ruled, as I recall, that the federal government can also withhold funds from sanctuary cities.
I believe so.
Yeah. So, again, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, ladies and gentlemen, right?
It's going to be interesting.
It is. It is. Like you said, I don't really think that this debate changed anyone's mind. But what it should have done is it should have reinforced either you love what's happening right now, in which case, vote for him.
Vote for Harris.
Vote for Harris. If you love what's happening right now, go for it. I don't.
I don't either.
I don't. Before the illegals, before the bumbling moron that is allegedly in the White House, before all of that, inflation was out of control. Jobs. I don't know about you, but my son's currently looking for a job, and it's hard. There are not that many.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was a lot of jobs.
This is the thing, right? You have tons of listings,
Uh-huh.
right? But when you apply, crickets in the clink of silver.
I see.
Unless you have very, very specific skills tailored for that job, right? I'm not saying that all job listings are bogus. But in order to qualify for certain programs, you have to list jobs, but hiring for that position is something else.
I see.
You heard about that, right?
I have not, but
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. You have to at least make the attempts to hire. Think about it like somebody on unemployment, right? Somebody on unemployment, you know where I'm going with this,
Yeah,
right?
I do.
Okay, so if you collect unemployment, you have to look for work. That's part of the conditions, right? You fill out the thing and you tell them where all you put in applications that week, right? So you put, say, Burger King, right? I went to Burger King, I went to McDonald's, I went to Taco Bell, and I went to Arby's. And I put in applications at all of them, right? And then you click the button, and that's it. That's the verification system. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, right? At the same time, these companies collect money from the government if they say, look, these positions were emptied during COVID and we don't have enough people. Well, do you list the job? Yeah, we do. It's right there on Indeed, for example, right? Okay. Are you interviewing for the job? Sure. We're just not finding anyone with the appropriate skills and experience and talent. And I don't know if you've actually looked at the job market in depth. And this is an ongoing problem. This isn't new, but for a good job, you need experience. In order to get experience, you need to start at the bottom. But in order to start at the bottom, you need experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how it is, though. It's the way it's been for a long time. And again, it's a separation of classes, right? Because the wealthy can afford for little Stacy to go do an internship somewhere because little Stacy lives at home and has her food and rent and car payment and insurance. All that shit's paid for by mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
The rich people can get those kind of jobs because they can do the intern. Poor people can't do intern work, man. How are we supposed to eat?
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. But it all comes down to economy, immigration, and do you like what this administration represents? I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to mince words here. They got some freaks in that administration. Some absolute freaks.
Yep.
That is not who I want in charge of my country. Period. End of story. You got a bald-headed luggage thief that doesn't know what freaking gender they are. You got an individual in charge of health policy who isn't sure what gender they are and is also fat. How can I'm fat. I will see. I can say people are fat. I'm fat, but it doesn't. I used to be a lot bigger. But when I was 400 pounds, I don't think I should have been in charge of other people's health.
Probably not.
Right.
No.
Obviously, I'm not making the best decisions.
But it was probably difficult because you were probably a truck driver. I think.
Yeah, well, I was a truck driver, and then I got injured, and then I worked at Indiana State Prison. It was a whole lot of sitting, not a lot of walking, and you get food that you can eat while you're there, which usually is like something you could throw in the microwave. Like, you don't have a lot of access to really healthy options. Could I have done better? Absolutely. And now I've lost, 250 pounds. So whatever, 200 pounds. But ultimately, you have to decide, are some mean tweets enough to compensate for the alternative? Right? I'll take mean tweets and $1 gas any day and twice on Sunday, man. Like,
I just ignore that kind of stuff.
Right. I get it, though. I want to make sure I clarify, because I can understand how someone who's used to what I consider hands-off presidents, right? Obama and pretty much everybody before him, they would get in front of the camera, they'd make their statements, and then they'd book, right? Press secretary would handle everything else, basically. Trump is a very communicate directly kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
He just is. Twitter, truth, whatever.
And you always know what Trump's thinking.
Yeah.
Even if he puts his foot in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where he does.
Oh, absolutely. There's been times when I'm like, is he drunk? Like, I think he just smoked a blunt, dude, because he has to be high to say this. But at the same time, I appreciate the candor.
That's true.
I appreciate the direct communication, because what's the alternative? Look at KJP, right? Karine Jin, whatever freaking name, Pierre. Dude, I have never in my life seen a worse press secretary.
Yeah.
Holy God.
There was rumors that they were trying to get rid of her last year.
I wonder why.
But they couldn't get rid of her.
But you know what? I didn't think they could do worse than Gene Psaki.
True.
But
they did.
Holy cow, they did.
Trump's first press secretary kind of was terrible, too.
Oh, who was that? Spicer? Yeah. Oh, you know what? One last thing that I want to talk about before we wrap it up. Okay. So Harris and the press have made a huge ordeal about the fact that so-called Republicans have endorsed Harris. Let's talk about the people that have endorsed Harris, right? Mitt Romney. Ew. George W. Bush? No,
Liz Cheney?
Cheney did, but I think Bush said he was going to vote Harris too. But even so, right?
No, I don't.
You got Liz Cheney. You got
Dick Cheney.
Alberto
Gonzales.
Yeah, you got all these
McCain nominee or McCain
staffers. Yeah, you got all these people, right? That honestly, you have to ask yourself: do they now, or did they ever truly represent you?
And it sounds like no.
If you look at the way the things these people have done, the statements they've made, and the way that they voted, they don't represent my ass.
No, I don't believe George W. Bush endorsed anybody.
Maybe, I don't know if he did or not. I know staffers did. But ultimately, bear in mind that, for example, right, Dick Cheney. Biden literally called Dick Cheney the most dangerous vice president ever. But now they're celebrating the endorsement. Are you fucking serious?
And how bad the media hated Cheney when he was the vice president. And now they love him.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy.
What's interesting is, had he endorsed Trump, they'd have destroyed him. And you guys know this. It's not a secret anymore. It's not some fringe conspiracy theory that the media is biased. Everybody knows that now. Like, you really have to have serious blinders on at this point to not see the propaganda machine that is the mainstream media.
And I know people who are like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know people that are like,
I'm not going to mention their names on the air.
No, we're not going to mention any names, but you know who you are, John. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. It's not. I just picked a name at random.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I was like,
It's not you, John. The other John. No. There are people that just absorb it, right? That watch CNN, and CNN says Trump is dangerous to democracy, and they go, Ask yourself, what happened during the last Trump presidency? Did he attack reporters? Did he shut down free speech? Did he mobilize the military in this country? No. We can look at Trump's previous presidency and go, yeah, that's, he might have learned a lot, but is that going to be what he's done? What he does? Yeah, more than likely. I mean, that's hopefully a better job, but he didn't do a bad job. He just picked bad people.
A lot of his people sucked. But like he said, I knew nothing about Washington. I listened to some people I shouldn't have. Boom. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was one of his good picks.
That was one of the good picks, yeah. Hopefully, once Trump wins, because I do believe Trump's going to win.
We'll see.
Once Trump wins and he gets back there, hopefully he learned a lot and he picks better people.
It's going to be close.
I think it's going to be a landslide.
Should be a landslide, but
I think unless they allow all the cheating, because they're going to try to cheat. As long as that's curtailed, Trump will win by a landslide. If not, and we have a situation like we have had before, I think that's going to be a problem. I think that's going to be a real problem. And I think, and my buddy is fond of saying this, the guy I do coffee break with, Jim, no matter who wins, there's going to be some pissed off people and some problems.
Yeah.
And I think that's accurate.
I agree.
Yeah. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you stopping by. We will talk to you guys again real soon. And as always, God bless you. God bless Indiana. And God bless the United States of America. I hope you have a great night. See you.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.